What's going on, guys? This is Rob. If you guys enjoy my content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that little bell so you never miss out on my sexy voice. So this story is like the greatest Batman story ever told. Really, it's like a Batman Superman story, but it's like the greatest story ever told. I love this story so much. Now, I mean, I haven't read everything about Batman, so I guess maybe it's not, I guess I can't really say it's the greatest story ever told, but of the stories I've read, it's like the best Batman story ever told. It's so cool because this is all about like bromance between Batman and Superman, as well as like Catwoman and Lois Lane. Okay, what would be the woman equivalent of a bromance? Like, I don't know what the woman equivalent of that is. Like a womance, I guess? I don't know. Like maybe there's friends. I don't know, like BFFs. I have no idea like what the equivalent of that is. But it is cool because like initially this kind of kicks off with like Superman and Lois Lane kind of going back and forth, right? And the whole reason why is because Lois Lane is like, you should call Batman. Like, we need to hang out. Like, we need to like get together and like we need to like hang out and have some fun and just like have like an adult's night out because like it would be fun. And it's kind of funny because like Superman avoids it, right? He's just kind of like, oh well, yeah, I mean, I'm busy. You know, I've got stuff, you know, that I've got to do. I mean, I've got, you know, superhero things. Like, it's just making up reasons for why you can't call Batman. And at the same time, Batman does the same thing, right? I mean, Catwoman and Batman are facing off against some guys, you know, and it's like, well, you should call Superman. Like, you know, he's like the best friend you have. Like, we need to hang out. We got to get together. And that's what's kind of funny about this is like, when it comes to the way these stories are done, you have like Lois Lane and Catwoman who kind of stand in as the voice of reason. And we wouldn't normally expect it to be that way, right? Like, we would expect it to be like Batman and Superman who are like the voices of reason. But they're like two guys who just can't bring themselves to call each other because it's all kind of based on pride and all that kind of stuff. But as this goes on, it kind of begins to sort of dwindle things down to where we get to like the heart of the matter of why they won't necessarily call each other. I mean, Lois Lane wants to meet Catwoman and like Catwoman wants to meet Lois Lane. And so really to kind of like bring the two together, sort of going through their husbands, it's really funny, you know, because when it comes to like Lois Lane, she sits down and says, look, you know, I've looked into Catwoman, you know, I've looked into what she's about, you know, I've looked into who she is as a villain, basically, like Selena Kyle, and I'm curious about her. Like, I want to know what would lead a person to want to marry Batman. I want to know what level of insanity would drive a person to that clause. I need to know why this is the case. And again, it is fun because we would kind of expect them to just, you know, Superman just kind of be like, okay, cool, let's call, let's see what's up, like let's get together. But once we start to go through into these little nicks and crannies, you know, these little tidbits, these little small things that sort of make these characters who they are, what we end up finding out is like Batman and Superman in a lot of ways idolize each other. Like, I mean, you know, you got Superman fighting against some radiation guy, you know, I don't really know his name, I don't really care enough to look it up, but you got Superman fighting some radiation guy. You've got Batman going against this various group, you know, and really these roads are kind of leading them to each other, but it's not really the villains they're facing. That's not the important part of this. The important part of this is that they sort of highlight the other's existence. They highlight the other's purpose, the role they play. They highlight who they are and what they're about. When it comes to Batman, he sits down and he simply says, or at least when Catwoman speculates, it says that you're ashamed of me. Of course, Batman's response is, of course not. That's crazy talk. I am not ashamed of you at all. That would land me in the doghouse if I said yes, even if I was joking. But still, from Batman's perspective, he almost sees Superman as like a better man than him. And that's what's so interesting about this. But at the same time, Superman sees Batman as a better man than him. Each one puts the other on a pedestal. And that's what's so cool about this, because all they really see are like the great aspects of each other. Now, that's just a hallmark of having a friendship that stood the test of time for so long. I mean, that's really kind of the thing that goes into all this, is that you've got Superman and Batman who were like the 1-2 punch of DC Comics. And they've been, you know, they've been enemies, they've been friends, all those things, but all that is kind of built up over the years into this tried and true friendship that's had its ups and downs, but each one respects the other to such a degree that they don't really see the flaws in the other person. I mean, they know they're there, but they don't really look at those aspects. They look at what makes them great. Batman is the detective. He's like one of the smartest men, if not the smartest man. I would argue that maybe Lex Luthor is a little bit smarter depending on what circumstance we're talking about, but by and large, like Mr. Terrific, Batman, Lex Luthor have like the top 3 spots. But still, in the eyes of Batman, Superman is like the hero. He's the good guy, like he's the Boy Scout. And even if Batman will give him a hard time over it, there's respect found in that. There's respect found in the idea that Superman will put all others above himself, and Batman will too. But where Batman is kind of like the dark and brooding side of like a singular person, Superman's kind of like the uplifting side. That's the cool thing about this. You juxtapose these people, you put them into like one person, and suddenly like they're just two sides of any one individual person. They keep each other balanced and they keep each other grounded. And so what ends up happening is that the villains they face basically lead them to like one particular building. And they take two different entrances to get in there. Batman sneaks in because, you know, he's Batman. Like, that's what you do when you're Batman. You don't just walk in the front door. That's crazy talk. If Batman were gonna go grocery shopping, for example, Batman would not go to like, you know, Kroger's and like walk in the front door. He would like jump on top of the building and like sneak down through like the ductwork and then like sneak around and get what he wants and then like swipe his back credit card and be out before anybody knows he's there. But like when you're Superman, you're like, yeah, man, we gotta go grocery shopping because we're low on lettuce, you know, and then like you go in there and you buy the stuff you need and then you leave like a normal human being does. But still, like they end up running into each other, and it is kind of funny because what ends up happening is like they're kind of standoffish, right? Like, well, I didn't expect to see you here, Batman. You know, and it's then you have like Selena Kyle and Lois Lane, and Lois Lane's like, you must be Catwoman. It's nice to meet you. And like they immediately break the ice and start shaking hands. Now, of course, these villains show up and of course they make quick work out of them. But Superman's response is, well, let's get some dinner. This is where the story gets amazeballs. It gets so cool. They show up to the Gotham County Fair and it's superhero night. Now, all right, I want to be honest with you guys. I've been to a lot of fairs. All right, I've been to a lot of fairs, a lot of carnivals in my time. I have never seen a carnival or fair where it's like, you can't get in here unless you're dressed as a superhero. I really want to go to one of these. Anyway, when these guys get in here, it's kind of funny because they're immediately turned away, right? They're like, hey, look, it's superhero night. You have to be a superhero. If you're not dressed as a superhero, you can't come in here. And they don't believe they're superheroes, even though this guy is talking to Batman and Superman. Lois Lane and Catwoman have this genius idea where they're like, well, let's just switch costumes. Batman can be Superman and Superman can be Batman. And like Lois Lane will be like Catwoman. And it's like the most beast idea ever, right? Because like the whole time Batman's like, no, we're not doing this. Like we're not doing this. All right, we're not switching into costumes. We're not trading places. We're not doing any of this stuff. We're just gonna sit and be sad because like I'm Batman, that's what I do. I mope. And so like, you guys know it, Batman mopes, but still, like the funny thing is that where Batman's adverse to it all, Catwoman's like, well, you guys misunderstand what he's saying when he says no. When he says no, what he means is that he knows his fiance is really hungry and she's being very patient right now, but her patience is running out very, very fast, and he recognizes he needs to remedy that, and so he's going to do that. Aren't you, Batman? Because it's in your best interest to do that. And so like they do. As any married man will tell you, if the wife ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And so it's funny because like they basically switch costumes, and like the whole time this happens, it looks amazing. Like it's so cool because you've got Batman who's cheery and Superman who's just like mopey. You know, like I'm just gonna call him Batman Superman now. I'm gonna confuse the heck out of you guys. But you got like Bruce Wayne Superman who's just like, this is not going to be fun. But I mean, look at this. It's like the most fun ever. Like they're eating corn dogs, and like Lobo is doing the hammer machine thing that like people always fail at and they feel bad. I mean, it's cool with this thing because like they go into the tunnel of love. And it's like a married couple versus a newlywed couple. Clark Kent and Lois Lane come out. This is so weird to me, like seeing them like this. Clark Kent and Lois Lane come out. They're like, well, that was nice. Man, Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle come out and they're going at it like rabbits in heat. It's amazing. But the best part of this is the batting cage, right? When they get to the batting cage, like they're just like smacking baseballs left and right. And then Superman's like, hey man, I mean, I could pitch to you if you want. Like you wouldn't hit it, but I mean, I could pitch to you if you want. And then Batman's like, no, dude, like if you pitched to me, Superman, I would smash that baseball. Like you don't have a chance. Like there's really nothing you could do here. Like I would absolutely smash that thing. Something else I also want you guys to notice too, Superman is dressed as Batman wearing his glasses. I think it's hilarious. I think it's amazing. Batman wearing glasses, Batman wearing specs. Dude, this is like the most fun I've ever had covering a story before. This is amazing. But the other half of this is like we pick up with Lois Lane and Catwoman, right? And this is cool because for the most part, again, like they're foreign entities to each other to a degree. And the biggest question that Lois Lane has is like, why Batman? Like of all the people you could marry, why would you marry Batman? And the answer of Catwoman is so simple and it's so amazing and it's beautifully done. Her response is, it's just because he catches me when I fall. And it's you know, the question is like, can you relate to that? And it's so cool because like that's the story of Superman and Lois Lane. And we've said it a million times before. Lois Lane falls, Superman catches her. But it's that he's always there for her and she's always there for him. It is the definition of what it means to be like a tried and true partner, you know, a tried and true love. I mean, that's kind of the nature of life, right? I mean, when people get together and people get in relationships, they're not really waiting on Superman, right? I mean, like a lot of women out there aren't really waiting on Superman to show up and whisk them away from all the dangers of the world and to give them all the money they need so they'll never have to worry about things. I mean, there are some who are, but like by and large, if a woman out there is waiting on Superman, it's because she's Superwoman. She's looking for a partner. She's not looking for a superhero, a white knight to show up and rescue her from all of life's struggles. You know, the idea of a relationship is coming across problems and solving them together. And that's why this works, is because the relationship between Selina Kyle and Batman is juxtaposed right next to the relationship between Lois Lane and Superman. And where we would think they would be starkly different, and where we would think it would all be predicated on two completely diametrically opposing views. Instead, they're the exact same. Everybody's looking for the same thing. Everyone is looking for love. And where Lois Lane and Superman found it, Selina Kyle and Batman have found it. But it's one of those things where like when you cut below the personality of Batman, when you cut below the whole, you know, I'm putting this wall up because I'm Batman and this wall's here because I protect myself from the world. When you cut past all that, and when you cut past, you know, Selina Kyle who does the same thing, they're just two people looking for love and they found it in each other. And that's why this is so beautiful and that's why this is so cool. Now, from here, like it's kind of funny because as they're walking along, this guy dresses the Question runs up and snatches the purse of Lois Lane. And it's hilarious because it's like, the question isn't who's going to let me, the question is who is going to stop me. And it's hilarious. Honestly, if I saw this, like if I were at like the superhero themed comic book I guess like a comic book convention at a theme park, like if I were there and I saw this, I would try to get it. Like I would try to record it and like I would upload it as a front bumper on my channel. I'd be like, guys, you have to see this, you know, and then like I would put it in the video, but like people would love it and it would be amazing. And I would just be like, yes, all those likes, I am feasting on them. But like it'd be hilarious because in response to all this, Superman and Batman are just kind of watching this happen. And then like Superman's like, okay, so like here's how far this guy is, how fast he's traveling. And Batman's like, got it. Throws a baseball, knocks the dude right out. And somebody dressed as Green Lantern is just kind of like, damn. Also, maybe it's just me. That guy looks like he's dressed as Alan Scott Green Lantern. Oh my God, they're referencing Alan Scott Green Lantern, like the old Alan Scott. Not the new Alan Scott. The new Alan Scott's not as good as the old one. The old Alan Scott. But once the night starts to wind down, like once everything starts to come to a close and it really starts to come to an end, it's really more or less everybody just saying, hey, look, this was amazing. Like this was a great time. You know, I had a blast. Batman's just kind of like, no, I did not have fun, even though I did. I'm just not going to tell you. Like, I mean, that's brooding Batman. But you know, when the whole thing winds down, it's funny because Superman's like, hey man, like I'd still love to like pitch at you sometime to like throw a baseball and see if you can hit it. You know, I mean, you can't, but like, I mean, we'll see what's up. You know, it's like, I know a place. So they end up at like a baseball pitch, right? And this is the coolest thing ever. We end up at a baseball pitch and like Superman goes to throw the baseball. And Batman's like, dude, I'm gonna hit it. I mean, that's just the way it is, you know? And Superman's like, whatever, man, nobody can hit this baseball. Like, you're not gonna hit this baseball, Batman. And Superman throws the ball and he's like, here's to the impossible. And then the comic ends, we never find out what happens. That's not true. I don't know why I told you that. What ends up happening is Batman smashes it. Why? Because he has prep time. With that being said, guys, we're gonna bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comments Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and I will catch you all later. Peace.